What we want to do is play 2-0, yeah! Now what exactly does that mean? Alright, I'll try to be here to guide you through what this is supposed to do. Anyhow, 1 and 2. So playing 2-0 entails taking the energy that exists. It exists within us, every single day. We have 3 assets, it is time and energy and money. So what you want to do is play to 0. And what I mean by that is to invest your third type of energy, which is your actual physical energy, and put it into a business of some kind and play that to 0, except it's not things that you usually spend your energy on. And that's the whole purpose of this sort of bit of a podcast, is to remind us that in essence there are so many things that we play to 0, but they are not assets. They do not serve as assets, and therefore this podcast is to remind the ability to use not things that are not assets, but to focus on things that are assets instead. And what I mean by that is, again, you have time, energy, and money as the 3 main form of assets every single day, and how to use them effectively is how we want to focus on this in this podcast. So yeah. So let's pretend you're gonna go ahead and play soccer in the day. Yeah. Or we're gonna play a video game. Yeah. And what I mean by that is that in essence you're gonna take that energy, that physical energy, and you're gonna play those activities, and they're in essence gonna go on down to 0. They're gonna go to 0. They're gonna go to 0, because you can't make anything from those activities, because for sure they're not asset activities. Whoa, yeah. So what we want to do is now transpose this mindset into investing, like the stock market, like investing money, like trying to make money go into more money and such things and such. Yeah, so if you pretended now that you had a money bag that every single day that money would replenish, and you had by the end of the day to invest that money, yeah. In this game, this example that we're talking about in this instance, in this podcast, what we are referring to is that specific example, yeah, where every single day the money would replenish, okay? The money does replenish in this example, this game that we're playing today within this podcast, all right, okay, yeah. So how we are going to see that this replenishes is that you want to pretend, first of all, that it's actual money, and that every single day, that if this money was to replenish, that in essence you would have to use the money that replenishes by the end of the day to be able to invest the money. All right, and obviously you don't want to lose the money and the value of the money. You want to invest it so that, in essence, you make more money by the day after that. Yeah. Just like if you're going to play a soccer game, you want to play to win. Yeah. You go and put your energy out there and you try to win the game so that you feel better than you did when you started. Yeah. So in this instance, what we're trying to talk about is the third type of energy, which is physical energy, and as opposed to monetary energy, which you use, and it is sort of finite and difficult to come by, which is monetary energy. And when you invest that, you have more odds of losing things, and then it's less ideal when you lose that monetary energy if it doesn't work out in the investment necessarily situation. Yeah. But in this instance, what we're trying to do is take that mindset and grow the mindset before trying to move into monetary energy investing in the future. Yes. So what we want to do is consider how to change this example from monetary energy into using physical energy, because every single day, just like that money example, physical energy actually does replenish in essence, but you have to spend it in the right way. You have to spend it in the right place, otherwise it does go to waste in essence, and you have the opportunity and ability to spend it into assets in essence. Yeah. So if you had that fake money every single day to invest into some type of assets every single day, you know you would invest it, because otherwise it would go to waste. Yeah, like Cinderella and her slippers, they at 12 midnight would expire. So what you want to do is go ahead and use the Cinderella energy that you've got until midnight, and you have to spend it because you want to have a good time, like Cinderella did, during the time that she had the opportunity to go ahead and use that energy. Yeah. And so in this example, while we continue to talk about these things, what we want to do is use our physical energy, which is the third type of asset that we have. They have time, physical energy, and money. Those are assets we have to try to grow a portfolio in life every single day. So with this in mind, what we want to do is, instead of playing things like soccer games and video games, which every day are fun to do and they absolutely go to zero, every single time you play them, they absolutely go to zero because they do not cause the ability to raise the value of a portfolio. So in this instance, what we want to do is transpose this mindset of having actual money bags every day that replenish to invest in some type of assets or stock market, for example, to be able to try to make it not just necessarily go to zero, but you want to make money with it. You want to make money with it in this fake example, obviously, so you're going to try to put it into things that make you want to make money. For example, yeah, if you had that fake money bag every single day, you would want to invest it so that every single day you would actually get more back than you started with. Yeah, because that's the purpose of the investing game. That's the whole purpose. That's the intention. That's the intent. Yeah. But now we move along. Now we're moving on to physical energy. That is the next focus that we're focusing on, which is physical energy, which is also an asset within the asset class bag that we have within ourselves, which is humans on this earth, in this financial process and ecosystem and world that we have among us. We have time, we have physical energy, and we have money. So now let's move along to physical energy. If we invest that physical energy into a business that is purpose-filled and driven, yeah, just like this podcast is somewhat, it's putting out energy into a direction that's trying to drive awareness into a brand. It's trying to drive awareness into a brand. Yeah. This physical energy is being invested. It's trying to put into awareness, bringing people into awareness that this brand exists. So yeah. It's one action. One action is what we're talking about. Putting that energy into one action a day so that it's therefore invested. It becomes invested. It's investable. It's an invested asset at that time. Yes. So what we want to do is invest that energy into something that is hopefully going to grow in the future, such as an audience or following or presence. Yeah. But if you're playing soccer or a video game, you know that's absolutely going to go to zero and you're not going to get anything back in terms of your brand, in terms of your monetary portfolio in the future. Yes. So what we want to do is invest that physical energy into a personal brand in terms of something that is purpose-driven, and also boil it down to one action. So you can just take one action a day, just like this podcast, for example. This podcast is supposed to be a physical example of the physical energy use that I'm referring to. Oh yeah. So this is an attempt to try to use this physical energy to transpose it into a podcast and be verbally present to guide and instruct and show and follow and present an example of how to present mindset through the form of these three types of energy, and using a single type of energy out of those three types of energy that is replenishable, which is physical energy. And every single day you have the opportunity, like Cinderella, to use that energy into an instance where you can go to the ball and you can have a good time. And that is sort of an example of transposing, using that physical energy into putting it into a personal brand, so that therefore it is invested and it's not wasted. For example, so if you go and play soccer, for example, that's wasted, and there's a 100% chance that you're not going to get that energy back into a reinvestment process where it compounds and it grows your personal brand, which is an asset in of itself, and it's a unique type of asset as opposed to monetary energy, which is the most common type of investment, where you take that energy and then you sort of shift that energy, and you want monetary energy to grow into more monetary energy in essence. But this third type of asset class, which is physical energy, is not super talked about, very common and often. But the whole purpose of the game is to actually try to make it go to zero so that you have fun doing it. That's the whole purpose of why I'm having this podcast to begin with, is so that you try to have fun with it, in essence, so that it's not a nuisance or annoying type of things, etc. in general, type of a sort of a thing. Because what I'm talking about is, if you play soccer, that is fun, for example, that is a fun thing, and same with video games, for example. But if you make media and sort of promoting your brand type of a thing and try to communicate with people into a fun process, then hopefully it becomes fun, and it's one single action. It's just one single action, boil it down to one single action. So every single day, hopefully you can invest that energy, which replenishes every day. Just like if you had money bags and somebody gave you a money bag every single day and they needed you to invest it before the end of the day, so that, for example, you had the ability to try to use that so that you could just play it to go to zero. You play it to go to zero, it doesn't matter if it goes to zero. Just like if you're playing a soccer game, you know that's going to go to zero 100% that's going to go to zero no matter what. And there's not even a chance for it to grow past whatever you spent that energy on, for example. So in this instance, we want to take that same mindset. Same with monetary energy, for example. If somebody gave you fake money bags every single day, you want to try to invest reinvest that. So every single day that grows into more money. You want it to grow into more money, and then the day after that you want it to grow into more money, and 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 more money. If you're able to invest that and reinvest that and compound that and reinvest that and use math and energy on the side of growing a portfolio, for example, to try to use this podcast in the advantage, in the mindset, in the ways that it's intended to be used, to be able to replenish the focus every single day, so the physical energy is used and reinvested and used for the purpose, for the intention, for the interest of growing a portfolio of a personal brand, so that people find more awareness in what you want to do and your causes and purposes and focuses and interests to grow a personal brand to begin with in the first place, by communicating more so effectively and often and frequently on things such as this, such as a podcast, to be able to communicate with a wider audience, to be able to try to grow awareness and grow that energy which relates and revolves around such a thing such as something called a personal brand, and that revolves around using physical energy to be able to try to grow that in the short term and the long term. So it's repurposing that physical energy into something such as a money bag. For example, someone gives you a money bag every single day and you got to spend it to go to zero, just like playing a soccer game, because that goes to zero absolutely every time, but it's much fun, it's a lot of fun, and you do it anyway and it goes to zero. And in essence, if you could do that and you could play a fake money game and every day you wouldn't care if it would go to zero, but you would just play it anyways because it would be fun. It'd be like demo trading in a stock market account, for example, but it'd be just more fun because there's more people around and you're communicating with more people, and it's just more awareness and more communication, for example, with people that hopefully you like, because you're drawing people closer to you that are people that you like. And the last, hopefully, phase of this interest would be to try to bring on someone that is around you that hopefully can hold you accountable a little bit at a time. And every single day, if you do this, you can kind of show them your output a little bit at a time. They're called somewhat of an accountability coach or an accountability friend or an accountability buddy, if that is possible. If you have someone around you, just that one text, you can send them one text every single day, just that you've shown them that you've done that one action every single day, so that they hopefully can support you and hopefully care about this thing with you in interest alongside of you, in hopes that it continues to help you grow and reinvest this energy, so that every single day you can reinvest this energy and use this energy that replenishes every day, just like that fake money example that replenishes every day, to be able to try to grow a personal brand and grow hopefully a greater awareness and purpose and interest into the world, and hopefully help improve the world, because you're helping improve the world, because that's the nature of personal brands to begin with. And if you use personal brands of physical energy to try to grow a personal brand on a day-to-day basis, then hopefully you're helping to improve the world as a result, and also grow a community, or not necessarily a community, but a whole bunch of energy around you that hopefully revolves around people that like you because they like what you're doing and what your cause is necessarily. And then that has to do with communal energy, which has to do with the whole world, which is definitely a community indeed. So hopefully it's possible to find someone to hold you a little bit accountable, if possible, just a little bit of people that want to support you in your cause and your interest and your focus towards growing a personal brand. You don't waste that personal energy that is there every single day. It's there every single day. That personal brand energy is there every single day, and you must focus on it to be able to focus on your cause and focus on what you want to do, and hopefully grab a little bit of an accountability person, an accountability buddy, accountability coach, accountability friend, accountability anything, to send them one text, just one text a day, so they can be there to receive it, and hopefully just check off the list that you were able to do the action that you said you wanted to do to begin with, and then hopefully that energy that you wanted to play to go to zero to begin with, just like a fake money bag example that would go to zero every single day, could be invested. It can be invested just from listening to this podcast, and hopefully you got some value from this podcast necessarily, yeah. And hopefully to check back in again some other time, and hopefully we can connect and speak again later. Hopefully you have a good rest of the day, and hopefully this has been somewhat useful in the mindset of trying to play the game to go to zero every day, because you don't care necessarily if you lose, but you just want to play the energy in the right direction anyway. So that, just like playing the fake money bag example, you want to win, just like playing a soccer game, you want to win, but in this instance you want the assets to increase in a fake example that can actually hopefully be used in reality to be able to grow a real portfolio in real time and make real assets become real, and transpose this energy into money in some day and time and way and place. Because this, after all, this energy that hopefully grows from a personal brand situation and communication can be monetized. It can be traded for money, eventually for selling products and eventually selling items on the back end of this personal brand energy. So hopefully growing this is going from a fake example in the beginning of this concept in a hypothetical fake example where we're just trying to transpose that mindset into a real process and a real positive and useful mindset energy going forward, and using the fake example, just like trading a demo account sort of in the stock market, kind of, and trying to transpose that energy into a real life example, real action, where you're using an accountability friend also to be able to follow through with some action that hopefully is valuable in the long term, long tail end, so that hopefully you follow through and gain some value from this podcast to begin with, and then hopefully we can all go forward merrily and hopefully improve the world together as one big old energy that continues to try to improve things and be collectively helpful with each other in terms of asset mindsets and all things that are good as we go on and go forward with things such as this. I guess it's like edutainment and such things. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks again. All right, thanks again. Dinky Tehc. Bye.